Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mandy and this is Back to Basics with Mandy. Not only is it Back to Basics with Mandy, it's also Retro Monday. Yes guys, we're getting back at it. I'm feeling better and it's time to get at this. I didn't forget, I didn't stop, I was just waiting till I felt better. If you want to know, I'm a very usually committed person. If I say I'm going to do something, that means I'm going to do it. And I did struggle for the last 3 weeks, not being able to fulfill my commitment to you guys and to myself, mostly to myself, like I'm sure, the world would still go on if Mandy didn't do these retro squares from Company's Coming. But I'm better, feeling better. I have a little bit more energy, and I thought it's time to get back at it. So today, our square is, what's that say? Fudgy Macaroons. Fudgy Macaroons. So that's kind of interesting. Why don't we go over the ingredients? So our first ingredient is 1 cup of evaporated milk. 1 cup of evaporated milk, guys. 1.5 cups of white granulated sugar. 1/4 cup of butter. A teaspoon of vanilla, 2 cups butterscotch baking chips. Generally, this is 2 cups. Generally, one of these packages is 2 cups. I wouldn't, bank on it because there's this thing called shrinkflation. And the last couple of times I had a thing of chocolate chips, I noticed that it was less than 2 cups. So, you know how it goes, guys. Nothing stays the same. And if they can skim it off, they do. 4 cups of cornflakes. Coconut, 2.5 cups of coconut. And 1 cup of walnuts. And that's our ingredients. This is what's going to make us fudgy macaroons. So let's get started. So this is also, again, a no-bake square. It's done on the stove. We heat it up to a boil on the stove. So we're going to start with those ingredients. Let me just move the camera down here. So we're going to put in here our 1 cup of evaporated milk. In case anybody's interested, comes in a can, evaporated milk, in case there are people that are confused about the milks. And our 1.5 cups of sugar and our butter. And our 1/4 cup of butter. So we're going to take this over to the stove and we're going to boil this. And we're not just going to boil it. We're going to boil it to a what's called a rolling boil. And that means I can't stop it from boiling. I can't stir it and it'll stop boiling. I have to get it really good and boiled. Let's go to the stove, guys. Okay, I just turned the stove on and I'm going to take 1 minute because I should have done this before I started, but I didn't. So I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to take 1 minute before I have to watch what's going on the stove. And I'm going to prepare my pan. So we have a 8x8 square pan. This is my square pan. This is what I use for all the squares. And if you're a long-time watcher, you know what I always do. I always line this square pan so I can pull it out for easy cutting. I'm just going to take a little spray, any oil, grease, butter, whatever you want to use, just to allow my paper to stick to the pan so I'm not fighting with it. That's all. And we're just going to put that in there so it's ready when I take this stuff off the stove and I can just get it in there without thinking about it. Okay, back to the stove, guys. Very quick. This cake got to a boil very, very fast. So as you can see, this is a rolling boil. I'm stirring it and it's still boiling. It doesn't stop boiling. So we're good to go here. We're going to take this back to the counter. And we're going to finish up with the rest of the ingredients. Okay, we have our pot here with the rolling boil. And next we're going to add we're going to add the butterscotch chips and the vanilla. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I always just use the lid to measure that, guys. I don't get all crazy. And I'm not going to bother measuring this because if it's not 2 cups, it doesn't matter. I don't have any more. So it is what it is. There we are. And now we're just going to stir this until this is melted. The butterscotch. Generally, the butterscotch chips and the peanut butter chips and even the white chips, they do not melt as easy as the chocolate does. I mean, I don't really know what goes into these chips, but something tells me they're not very natural. Actually, I'm actually going to look. What are the ingredients? So, sugar, hydrogenated modified palm kernel oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, modified palm kernel oil, hydrogenated palm oil, milk ingredients. And when something says milk ingredients, that doesn't necessarily mean milk either. Artificial flavor, soy, salt, sunset yellow FCF, that must be the food coloring. Tartazini. Oh, okay. Anyway, we're getting it as we said, guys, as we guessed. Not very natural. Anyway, that's why it doesn't melt so easy. But we're going to keep stirring this until it gets melted. All right, guys. Not going to lie, this has taken a little bit of a minute here. I kind of shut the camera off. It was taking so long. Again, it's still not actually 100% melted. But we're there, guys. We're there. So now we're going to add in our cornflakes, our nuts, and our coconut. There we are. And we'll just coat this and drop it in the pan. I'm very excited to taste this, mostly because, as you know, I haven't been doing anything, and so that means not only have I not been doing anything on camera, I also haven't been doing anything in real life. Like, I haven't been making any sweets or desserts or doing any extra work. It's just been the bare necessities since I've been under the weather. So there's been no treats in this house for a good 3 weeks. So I'm really kind of anxious to get at this little treat here. There we go. So we're going to pop this in the pan. Well, the butterscotch may be artificial, but you can sure smell it. Very butterscotchy. There we go. There we are, guys. Popping it in the fridge, letting it cool, and then we're coming back for the cutting and the taste testing. All right, guys, here's our squares. We've chilled them. And again, look at how easy that is. If you're making any kind of squares, guys, don't forget to line your pan so you can do that. That's why we go to that bother. And then we can just cut it up nice. It's nice and firm. I think I need a bigger knife. The one thing about always using the same pan is then you get in a nice little rhythm of how you want to cut them, right? And I always know that I'm going to cut my square into 6 across and 6 down. There we have it. Nice little square. The cornflakes are a little crunchy. All right, guys. Let's give it a taste test. All right. I just want a nice little piece. All right, guys, here we go. Here's our favorite part of the whole recipe process. What does it taste like? A butterscotch retro square. Let's have a taste. Very coconutty, all that coconut. And you can certainly taste the walnuts and the butterscotch. Great little square, guys. Great little square to add to your party plate. Here in Canada, we're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. So you might want to be thinking about, your little hors d'oeuvres and your little things that you might want to put out. You might want to do a few of these little squares. This, again, is a no-bake. Very easy. Just melting and mixing and setting so that it firms up. Put it in the fridge and cooling it down, and it's very easy. And it's a nice little different treat. Again, I think you always want to cut the squares small. They are always sweet. Like, they're just a lot of sweetness. So you want to always cut them small, and you always want to just so you have a little taste, a little nibble. Nothing too big or extravagant. You'd never get through it. It's too sweet for that, guys. Anyway, that's it for today on Back to Basics with Mandy. I'm coming back. I'm feeling better, and hopefully we're going to get back into our routine and continue on with our book. So that's it today, guys. Hope you have a good day, and God bless. We'll see you next time on Back to Basics with Mandy.